Okay, good morning, my dear students. Welcome to the session today, August the 4th today. And obviously, we are going to start with our activities, okay? Remember that we introduced the unit number 2, adventurers, and obviously we were working about the past simple, continuous, and the contrasted forms. And obviously, you received a video with the information according to this first part of the reading and the first part of the vocabulary. You received the YouTube link video for that. Today, we're going to continue with this and we are going to make a review about this, about the simple past tense, okay? We are going to make a fast review about this. Continue with this, Gainer, please.
We use the past simple to talk about finished actions and situations in the past. In May 1985,
1985.
Tanya Abbey set out from New York.
Stop for a moment. Remember, we insist, the past simple, a finished action, something that happened in the past. An action in the past with not extra details. It happens and no more information about that. That is the simple past tense. And what is the past continuous? The past continuous is something in the past, but now we continue having some situations, some results about that in the past, and obviously that we have in progress. Some people says that you are giving details about that. Gainer, continue.
We use the past continuous to talk about activities in the progress in the past. Example, it was raining when Tanya left New York.
Remember, a progressed action in the past. A past simple, and you are giving details about what happened into that action that is in progress in the past. And remember that you are going to use was, where, in this case, remember that you are going to use was or were and the verb with the ing form. Look at this. We are talking about the past simple. We're talking about the past continuous, okay? Now we talk about the past perfect. Continue, Gainer.
We use the past perfect when we talk about two things that happened at different times in the past. We use the past perfect to make clear which action happened first. Example, when she left, she had never sailed a boat alone in her life.
Conclusion. Past simple refers specifically to an action in the past, no details. The past continuous refers exactly to activities in progress, okay? And when we talk about the past perfect, we are talking about things that happen in two different processes. And obviously, what is the most important? The action that happened first. That is specifically what we have in this. And remember, when we talk about this past simple, we use regular or irregular verbs. When we talk about the past continuous, was or were, and the verb with the ing form. And the past perfect, we are going to use had, and the verb in the past participle form of the verb. Those are the two characteristics that we are going to find in this. Using this information, please, page 20. Page 20, please, everybody. Remember the exercise that we have here in this part. Continue with the information, please, Lucas, Calle Lucas, okay?
Sí, miss. A real adventure. Freya Stark.
Wait a minute. Just give me a minute, please, okay? So in conclusion, you are going to complete the information. You are going to use the verbs that you have in the brackets, okay? In the parentheses. You are going to use simple past. You are going to use past continuous or progressive or past perfect. Okay, start please.
Freya Stark was born in Paris.
Continue.
In Paris in 1893.
Yes.
To an English father and an Italian mother. As a young girl, she became fascinated with the Middle East after
She
read.
read. Remember that is the simple past, read, okay?
After she read 1001 Nights and dreamed
Dreamed,
of going there.
Remember that dreamed, we have two forms of dreamed, with ed or t, okay? Those are both are accepted. Thank you. Perez Edith, continue, Perez Edith. But she, Edith Perez,
Aquí,
okay?
es simple que hay muy entonces.
But she,
But she did almost take it the act of
didn't make, continue.
it as the act of sitting when she
Was she? What is the correct form? But she?
was working in the factory in Italy.
Continue.
That's correct.
Freya's hair
But
got
hung in the matching
which?
scarlet. Her face for life.
Thank you. Continue, Jameli, okay?
One, she was had recovered.
Had recovered,
She-
very good too.
She decided to learn Arabic and Persian, in addition to the English, French, Italian, and Latin, which she has already learned.
Had, remember that we are using the past perfect. Had already learned, continue.
In 102 times 27.
No. In November 1927, continue.
27, Freya Couch achieved to buried in share of the adventure. She
Caught.
traveled. She traveled, styling through the desert of Persia and the Arabian Peninsula. By the time she was 30, she had been to remote and wild places that no other explorer had ever been to before.
Okay. She
had written over 2,000 books about her dangerous adventure. Freya Stark died in 19 May
1993
in Oslo, in Italy, at the age of 100.
Okay, so here you have the information. Remember that in the video, you have the process of these activities too, okay? So those are the parts that we were having about the past simple form in this case. Also, you were working with some of the statements using when and while. Remember, please, when we talk using when and while, it's really important to mention when connects the simple past, while connects the past progressive. Okay, when connect the simple past and while connects the past progressive. Okay, using this information, we continue. Pamela, number 2.
She met her husband while she was studying in Vanuatu.
Very good. Remember, while and connect the progressive tense. And everything, and please, and everything that is before that is going to be in simple past tense. Continue with the number 3, Pamela.
Helen MacArthur was sailing in the Atlantic when she almost
Uh-huh.
with a wave.
She almost collided. Collided. Remember, when connects the simple past tense. And everything that is besides or before that, it's connected with the was and the progressive form. Continue with the number 4. Thank you, Miss. Campo Verde Lucas. Campo Verde Lucas. Number 4. Campo Verde Lucas. Number 1. Campo Verde Lucas, number 2. Campo Verde Lucas, number 3. Okay, bye, baby. See you. Okay, José Farah, continue, number 4. Ustedes saben, quien no trabaja, lo saco de sesión. A mí no me vienen solo por la asistencia. Vamos. Number 4.
Ranulph Freinet got frostbite in his fingers while was walking to the North Pole in 2000.
Very good, okay? Remember, we said while, and we connect with the continuous form. And obviously, what is next before? In this case, you're going to use got. Continue with number 5, Jose.
Jason Lewis was rollerblade across the stage when a car crashed into him and broke both his legs.
When connect with the simple past, and obviously what is before, we're going to use the continuous form. Please correct the errors. In the video, you had that information, and obviously we were reinforcing today about these activities, okay? So here we have the information that you completed in your books and also to work in this. Remember that we were having also about expressions. And when you are writing and you are giving an exam for a V2, it's really important at the moment of writing the use of these connectors. Those are important expressions that you are going to use to connect the ideas. And obviously here we're going to have Giselle Molina, please.
We use even thought, thought, in spite of, and despite when a situation contrasts with another, but doesn't prevent it.
Okay, what is that? Even though, although, and in spite of, and despite. Those connects idea. What is to contrast? Remember, what is to contrast? To have a comparison. When you compare expressions, it's not comparing adjectives or things. You are comparing situations. And that is to contrast. Even though, although, in spite of, a pesar de, although, sin embargo, don't, or even though is similar to although in this case. Examples, please. Read the examples, miss.
Even thought she only had 2 years of sailing experience. She chose the boat.
Okay, so we have even though and although. Those expressions are frequently used at the beginning of the sentence. Those expressions are frequently used at the beginning of the sentence. But sometimes you are going to use, obviously, in the middle of some of them. But specifically, is preferred to use into this form of this. We have the next exercise. Continue, miss.
She learned about the importance of having a clear goal, in spite of all the setbacks, and in spite of
being afraid, okay? So here you have the information, despite or in spite of is frequently used in the middle of the sentence. Those are frequently used in the middle of the sentence to connect something that I need that you pay attention. Despite all the setbacks, did you see? Despite connects with that complement. Despite of the preposition, in spite of connects with the ing. Remember, if you are using the preposition, it connects with an ing form, okay? Despite that being ill. In this case, we said also in spite of, and you are connecting with the noun, you can use it. But if you are connecting with the verb is going to be with the ing form. Using that words, we are going to complement into these expressions. We are going to include, attention, similar meanings to the first one. You are not going to alter the meaning. You are going to say the same using that. Joel, please read the number 1.
Yes, she was really tired, but she decided to go out with her friends, even.
Yeah.
She decided to go out with her friends, even though she was really tired.
Okay, you are including this even, and you include even to the expression so in order to say exactly the same that we have into the first part of the activity, okay? And you connect, you make a little variation of the sentences of that. Joel, continue with the number 2. You are going to use despite.
Okay. Although it's despite the rain, I had lunch outside.
Remember, although and despite cannot be together. You are going to supreme that. 2 linkers together in the same place impossible. And remember, despite the rain, I had lunch outside, okay? Joel, continue with the number 3.
Okay. In spite of their protestation, the baby sister made the children go to the bed at 19 p.m.
Okay? How is
Also,
this? Okay, how do you consider? How would be the sentences?
in spite, although, I don't know.
No, how, although, sin embargo.
Oh no. To go children to bed at 9 p.m.
Are you sure?
No.
Try to get the analysis. Although what? Sin embargo, it could be at the beginning or in the middle of.
Sin embargo.
Although
Although they protested, the baby
protested.
sister,
Although they
protested,
protested,
the baby sister made the children go to the bed at 9 p.m.
remember that you are going to use these words into similar meanings. You made some variations, but you don't alter it. Please copy the information, copy the words, because this will happen into the, you will use those in the platform. Number 4, Remache Daniel. Thank you, mister.
Even though he was nervous, he gave a really good performance. In spite of.
What is your sentence?
He gave a really good performance in spite of he was nervous.
More or less. It's the other side. It's correct, but in the opposite, it's correct. Now read.
In spite of being nervous, he gave a really good performance.
It's really good. It's okay. It's good. But something, and it's recommended that to use in spite of being, okay? But for me, it's correct. Number 5, continue.
They managed to get in spite of the tight security even.
In spite of. En contra de.
Even they managed to, even of the tight security.
They managed, okay, read.
They managed to get in even thought the security was tight.
Remember that you have to omit, in this case, the other linker that you have here, okay? They managed to get in even though the security was tight, a pesar de, okay, in spite of, okay? So you have the information, please, correct, complete in your books. Please complete in your books quickly. Let's do it. Complete in your books quickly. Let's do it, please, quickly. Okay, so here you have this information about the linkers. It's not easy. We have to keep practice about them. And remember it's really important to manage about the meanings of these words according to this, okay? So we continue with the next part, page 21, please. We are going to make a little listening. We're going to make a little listening, please, okay? We're going to have an interview about an extreme survival story, about survivors. Nowadays, some TV programs try to cover this kind of situations and make some realities. And also now we are going to listen about that, okay? So we are going to listen, you are going to read, and we have two questions. What are the two questions, Anaí?
Read the article and answer the question. Where was Julian, Joy, and why? What do you think happening next?
Okay, so what is the topic? All alone in the jungle for 10 days. You are going to listen and you are going to answer these questions, okay? You are going to listen and you are going to answer the questions. Please, attention, the voice and the girls, you are going to use the answers into the chat. I need that you answer the questions in the chat, okay? You listen and answer the questions in the chat. Ready? One, let me check a moment. Let me share the sound. Okay, let's do it. But we don't have it. So, no, okay, here. Let me check this.
All alone in the jungle. On the 24th of December 1971, Lancer Flight 508 took off from Lima Airport, Peru, with 93 passengers on board. Among them was 17-year-old Juliana Kupka, who was studying in Lima to be a zoologist. She and her mother were on their way to Pucallpa in the Peruvian rainforest to spend Christmas with Juliana's father, who was working there. The plane was flying over the jungle when it was engulfed in a fierce thunderstorm. It was shaken violently for about 20 minutes. Then suddenly, it was struck by lightning. A fuel tank caught fire, there was an enormous explosion, and the plane disintegrated. Juliana, still belted into her seat, fell 3,000 meters through the air and crashed into the jungle. Amazingly, she survived with just minor injuries, a broken collarbone, a nasty cut in her foot, and the loss of sight in one eye. She felt terrible and she was exhausted, but she had survived the plane crash. She was alive. And she was all alone in the Amazon jungle.
Okay, listen one more time.
All alone in the jungle. On the 24th of December 1971, Lancer Flight 508 took off from Lima Airport, Peru, with 93 passengers on board. Among them was 17-year-old Juliana Kupka, who was studying in Lima to be a zoologist. She and her mother were on their way to Pucallpa in the Peruvian rainforest to spend Christmas with Juliana's father, who was working there. The plane was flying over the jungle when it was engulfed in a fierce thunderstorm. It was shaken violently for about 20 minutes. Then suddenly, it was struck by lightning. A fuel tank caught fire, there was an enormous explosion, and the plane disintegrated. Juliana, still belted into her seat, fell 3,000 meters through the air and crashed into the jungle. Amazingly, she survived with just minor injuries, a broken collarbone, a nasty cut in her foot, and the loss of sight in one eye. She felt terrible and she was exhausted, but she had survived the plane crash. She was alive. And she was all alone in the Amazon jungle.
Okay, so you have the information. And obviously here we have the two questions, okay? And here we have the two questions. Please, right now I need that you read the information and obviously that you answer the questions, okay? Quickly, use the chat. I need that you answer the questions. Use the chat. Let's do it, let's do it. Use the chat, please, okay? Answer the 2 questions. Quickly, 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 let's do it. Only Valeria? What happened with the rest? Question number 1 and question number 2. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, please, quickly. Question number 1 and question number 2. Quickly, quickly, let's do it. Quickly, quickly, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Okay, Yameli, Joseph, Justin. Quickly, what happened with the rest? ¿Tengo que ponerle falta al resto o sacarlos de la sesión? Let's do it, let's do it. Okay. Sebastian, okay. So quickly, let's do it, let's do it. Answer the questions. Okay, let's do it, let's do it. Quickly share in the chat the answers. Question number 1 and number 2. Valeria, okay, what is the question number 1? Where was Julian going, why?
Julian went to Lima, Peru, to spend Christmas with her father.
Okay, that's right. Thank you very much. Fiorella, what do you think happened next? What do you think happened next?
I think, que no sé cómo decirlo, pero o sea, yo pienso que van a tener un
In the
accidente.
book, you have information.
I think, o sea, pienso que van a tener un accidente
But
por como,
but you know how to do in English. What happened next? They had
they have an accident
in the
the plane,
where? In what place? In the
in the jungle.
very good. Okay. So here we have the information according to this. And obviously you have, okay, the number 1, and obviously they had an accident into the Peruvian forest, okay, or in the jungle on this, okay? That's really good. We continue with the next part. Remember, page 21, and we continue with the next activity. You are going to complete the sentences. You are going to complete the sentences. You are going to listen, and you are going to complete the sentences. Attention. Men, you are going to use the annotate bar. Men, the group of men, the group of boys, you are going to use the annotate bar, and the ladies use the chat. And the ladies use the chat, okay? And the ladies use the chat. Ready? Okay. Men, confirm me please if the annotate bar is working. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So attention, please. Okay. Listen and complete.
All alone in the jungle. On the 24th of December 1971, Lancer Flight 508 took off from Lima Airport, Peru, with 93 passengers on board. Among them was 17-year-old Juliana Kupka, who was studying in Lima to be a zoologist. She and her mother were on their way to Pucallpa in the Peruvian rainforest to spend Christmas with Juliana's father, who was working there. The plane was flying over the jungle when it was engulfed in a fierce thunderstorm. It was shaken violently for about 20 minutes. Then suddenly, it was struck by lightning.
Have the first one. You have the first one, okay?
The plane was flying over the jungle when it was engulfed in a fierce thunderstorm. It was shaken violently for about 20 minutes. Then suddenly, it was struck by lightning. A fuel tank caught fire, there was an enormous explosion, and the plane disintegrated.
Hey, I don't know what happened. The first information was good. Listen and complete. Ladies, the chat, the voice, the annotate bar.
Flying over the jungle when it was engulfed in a fierce thunderstorm. It was shaken violently for about 20 minutes. Then suddenly, it was struck by lightning. A fuel tank caught fire, there was an enormous explosion, and the plane disintegrated. Juliana, still belted into her seat, fell 3,000 meters through the air and crashed into the jungle. Amazingly, she survived with just minor injuries, a broken collarbone, a nasty cut in her foot, and the loss of sight in one eye.
Okay.
Jungle when it was engulfed in a fierce thunderstorm. It was shaken violently for about 20 minutes. Then suddenly, it was struck by lightning. A fuel tank caught fire, there was an enormous explosion, and the plane disintegrated. Juliana, still belted into her seat, fell 3,000 meters through the air and crashed into...
Okay, please, quickly, boys. Only 2 boys working. Only 2 boys working. What happened with the rest of the boys? What happened with the rest of the boys? The girls are working into the chat. Okay.
Tank caught fire, there was an enormous explosion, and the plane disintegrated. Juliana, still belted into her seat, fell 3,000 meters through the air and crashed into the jungle. Amazingly, she survived with just minor injuries, a broken collarbone, a nasty cut in her foot, and the loss of sight in one eye. She felt terrible and she was exhausted, but she had survived the plane crash. She was alive, and she was all alone in the Amazon jungle.
Okay, let's do it. I need that you complete information. Let's do it. Quickly, complete information. Let's do it. Quickly, let's do it.
Mi super niño no me deja escribir.
Wait a minute. Something might happen. Let me check. Okay, now. Okay, let's do it. Okay, quickly, let's do it. So quickly, please. Okay. What happened with the number 5? What happened with the number 6? Let's do it. Okay. Quickly, let's do it. Okay. So in conclusion, here we have some of the options. Check your answers. Okay, very good. Okay. Let's do it quickly. The chat is moving also. Okay. The chat is moving. Let's do it. Girls are collaborating with you. Okay, that's good. So here we got the answers. Okay. Here we got the answers about the transcript. Okay, here you have the answers. Here you have the answers. If you want to take the capture, please. If you want to take the capture, let's do it. Okay. So here we have some of the words that students were working according to this, and obviously working with that, okay? So we are going to have, okay, we continue with the next part of this. And obviously I need that you pay attention to the words. Okay, I need that you pay attention to the words. I bet, bound to, it doesn't bear thinking about. Okay, you are going to read the information. Please continue. Michelle, pick up, please. Look.
Look at the expression face to face and drag them to correct place to complete the dialogues. Listen and check.
Okay, so I need that you have the sentence number 1. Michelle is going to read and you are going to activate your microphone and you are going to tell me what word you consider it's the best one to that, okay? Start means number 1.
Rivers are the roads of the jungle. Do all you can to find a river and follow it downstream. It's bound to lead to people eventually.
Okay, what is the best sentence, everybody? Collaborate. What is the sentence number one? What is the word? I bet, bound to, or it doesn't bear thinking about?
Bound to.
Bound to.
Okay, that's good. Later we're going to compare and we're going to check the error. Continue reading the number 2, please. Tamara, read the number 2. Tamara, read the number 2. Activate your microphone, Tamara.
She had cut the English with a piece of metal. It was everything coarse thing do, but if she had done it in the walls could have become infected. Oh.
Ouch. Okay, what is the word, everybody?
It doesn't.
It doesn't what? Doesn't?
Think about.
Well, number 3, continue, please, Anaí.
I bet they were Amazon to find her. Yes, I'm astounded that she survived for so long.
Attention, listen and correct. Okay?
Rivers are the roads of the jungle. Do all you can to find a river and follow it downstream. It's bound to lead you to people eventually.
2.
She had to cut the eggs out with a piece of metal. It was a very courageous thing to do, but if she hadn't done it, the wounds could have become infected.
Ouch, it doesn't bear thinking about. 3. I bet they were amazed to find her.
Yes, and astounded that she'd survived for so long.
Okay, so bound to lead, it's able to lead, they were companion to lead. It doesn't fear thinking about, it's not a problem to think about. I bet, I think, I know, okay, when you realize something about that, okay? We have less than a minute and we continue with the next part, maybe in a few days, okay? Vamos